Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hey, Ed, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, I'm super excited about today's show. I've got my Siggy official teeth in there. I got my 1970s soda ready to happen. It's all happening. We're going to be watching Siggy and the Sea Monsters, based on a true story. It's going to be exciting.
Wait a minute. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters,
Yeah,
that kid
Sigmund and the
show?
Sea. Yeah,
That wasn't a real thing, you nutcase. That was a kid show.
yeah, it was. It was based on a series of true life events that happened at Dead Man's Point with
Ed,
Johnny and
Ed, Ed,
Scott.
Ed,
It's
I'm
true.
begging you. I'm begging. Ed, there's no such thing as sea monsters, buddy.
There
None.
is. It's true. I've got documentary evidence. I'll just go. Hang on one second.
Okay, go ahead. Sea monsters. What?
I couldn't find it, but that's a Mitch. Mitch. Oh well. Let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister,
Hi, this is Mitch Alec.
and welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer or one of our new subscribers, welcome aboard. It's great to have you here. Hey, Mitch, if you are new to the show, how can you find out a little bit more about what we do here?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as being washed up on a beach and being a sea monster, and then being friends with two young boys and hanging out in their basement. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button below, and you too will be subscribed to the Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure, and you'll know whenever Ed and I go on another trip into the past by hitting the notification bell. And while you're there, why not hit those like buttons, because it makes us feel all warm and fuzzy. So, Ed, my friend, where are we going today?
Well, we are heading to Dead Man's Point to find out a little bit more about the classic cult TV series Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Did you watch this when it came out originally, Mitch?
I did. I was a Siggy fan. I was on that TV set every Saturday morning watching the adventures of Johnny Whitaker and that little squid looking guy, Sigmund. I loved that show.
I love that too. It was really it was kind of weird. Now, I never saw prior to this, of course, it's a Sid and Marty Krofft production,
Yeah,
and they are legends in the industry. We just lost, I think, was it
Marty.
Marty Krofft, who just
Yeah.
passed away recently. But legends, we know them from, well, I certainly did, from H&R
HR
Block.
Puff and stuff.
H&R Block. They do
H&R
my
Block.
accounting.
He does your taxes too. I didn't
That's
know that.
right. From HR Puff and stuff, which I used to watch a lot.
Yeah.
But I missed Lidsville, which was the show that was prior to us in the
Lidsville.
Sea Monsters.
Bugaloos was another one that I used
That's
to
right.
watch. And then we did Land of the Lost, one of our
Yeah,
more
which
popular
came
shows.
directly after Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. And in fact, you can
Yeah.
watch,
Yeah.
if you look up here and click on that, you can find out about Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
But Sigmund and the Sea Monsters was really interesting in that it was the first Sid and Marty Krofft show to get 2 seasons. Most of them just
Yeah.
ran for a
Yeah.
single season, even though the second one was truncated. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But
Right.
it did. It starred Johnny Whitaker and Scott Holden as Johnny and Scott, funnily enough. And they find this sea monster, Sigmund. Do you know
Yeah.
Sigmund's last name?
Is it gross or something? Moss?
Ooze.
Ooze. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Sigmund Ooze, and basically he was kicked out of home because he didn't like scaring people, and
Correct.
he was played by Billy
Billy
Barty.
Barty.
Yeah,
Legendary. He was on like all the City Marty shows. Billy Barty always popped up.
yep. So Billy Barty was the actual it was a costume, sorry to say, and
What?
sorry, and Walker Edmondson was the voice of
Mhm.
Siggy, and basically they lived in this seaside house, and they had a shack.
Yeah.
There was all these
I
shenanigans basically with
yeah.
the brothers Slurp and Burp,
The
who
bro
were
yeah.
the two brothers, and they had
Sigmund's brothers. Yeah.
that's right, and Sweet Mama Ooze and Big Daddy
Big
Ooze.
Daddy Ooze, who sounded like Archie Bunker, which always was like, wow, what's going on?
And they
That's
had,
all in the family thing
I
back
just
there.
remembered they had a pet
A
lobster
lobster. Yeah.
called was that called Prince?
Yes. Yes. Prince was the lobster. Yes, they did. See, it's amazing the stuff that comes
It
through.
is, and I'm just remembering I had a lobster somewhere at home, but I could
I
have used
think you
that.
had it for dinner last night.
Probably
Hey,
did.
What I was going to say real quick is Sigmund. The other thing that was different about this show is HR Puffin stuff. Jimmy was lost over there in the HR Puffin stuff land, and all these other things was always about something like a fish out of water. It was always about the hero being in a strange world. Where this time the roles were kind of reversed, where Sigmund, the sea monster, was the strange fish out of water, if you will. He was the one that was hiding out in our world, our normal reality and stuff. And the boys, they never mentioned their mom and dad, so I don't know what
Well,
was going on
it
there.
was really weird because they were
Yeah,
never seen in the show, and there's an episode where there's a like a hurricane about to come in, and
yeah,
the title,
yeah,
they had to evacuate Siggy's cave, so his parents all
yeah,
left. They got notification that their parents were flying in that night, so they had to clean up. And I know Zelda, the
yeah.
housemaid,
Yeah.
was trying to clean everything up, but they couldn't because there was no electricity. Their parents never arrived. They said, their plane was delayed, but you never saw them.
No, I thought about that too, thinking about the show. And then there was the wacky neighbor who's always trying to find out what's going on. It's just like the Bewitched show, which was like, there's always that nosy neighbor trying to
Yes.
uncover the mystery. Or on I Dream of Jeannie, it was Dr. Bellows who was always trying to see
Yeah,
the
this was
magic behind
Mrs.
it.
Elders.
Who was the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz, Margaret Hamilton.
It was, yeah. When I was watching it back, I was going, "Oh, she looks familiar." And I'm going, "That's not Witchy Poo. It's
No,
but another witch. It
it
was
was, yeah,
Margaret Hamilton." And they
yeah, that's
also
a big name.
yeah, it was. And they certainly also had in the second season
Rip Taylor.
Rip Taylor
Yeah, the
as
comedian. Yeah.
Sheldon the genie coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They did have Jack Wild and also HR Puff and stuff having a
That's
guest.
right. He came on. Yeah, they did make a cameo on that one too. What I was gonna say is about the woman that played Zelda, the housekeeper. She was a big name here on
Mary
local.
Wicks.
Yeah, she would do local commercials. Not
Yep.
local commercials, but she was a spokesperson. I think it was like Ajax or something like that. She was always like Rosie. Not that was another character that's Nancy Walker, but she was always like showing up and you know I don't know, the how to do it type of person. But wasn't she on another classic comedy show?
She looks like she was always like the housemaid or
Oh,
the
I know. She was on an episode of MASH once. That's where I just remembered her from. She's
as
on an
one of the
episode of
nurses, one of the head like
the
a
one with the
visiting
nurses,
nurse.
and there was a guy on who tried to, and with Frank Burns, she says Frank Burns tried to attack her. That was her.
That's
I just
right.
remembered. That's her. Anyway, neither here nor there. But if you want to know more about MASH, watch our MASH episode
That's
too.
right.
But no, going back to the show, it was really obscure because you didn't have All in the Family over there with Archie Bunker. You had a different version, right?
We
That was a
had
big comedy show here.
yeah, I don't think I know of
No,
it, but I don't think it was on.
no, but ours was based on a British TV show, which was the father and the daughter lived in the son-in-law. Well, there's a show here called All in the Family. It
Yes,
starred a guy named Carroll O'Connor. He played a bigoted old guy
that's
named
right.
Archie Bunker, and that was a big thing. But Big Daddy, ironically, Big Daddy's played by a female actress, and the mom is played by a male person. Yeah, so that's weird that there were different sexes playing the different character roles. But that guy was always doing an impression of Archie Bunker, and I was like, why is he acting like Archie Bunker? But anyway, the demeanor of Big Daddy was based on Carroll O'Connor's
Yeah.
TV show, which made no sense whatsoever. And the mom talked like another character from a TV show. I'm trying to think of the mother squid
Yes.
thing, or whatever the sea monster
Well,
is.
they were like in a whole different TV show. They were sort of like the Flintstones, where with the
Yeah,
TV they
it was
had
like
their own like Sea Monster TV channel and everything
yeah,
like
it
that.
was like a
So
different world that
it
the sea
was.
monster people lived in. You're like, what's going on there? So
I always wanted to find like I think everyone, at some age, I think that's why it appealed to people is, wouldn't
well,
it be like ET? It's like ET,
well,
really.
no. It came about because this legend goes that Sid and Marty were at the beach and they saw a pile of seaweed wash up. And I think one of the brothers said, "Hey, that looks like a sea monster." And then bang, they were off to the races. And they came up with the whole premise of Sigmund.
Luckily, it wasn't a beached whale. Otherwise, it would have
No,
been a
then it
whole
would be
different show.
nasty smell. No, that wouldn't have worked out well. No, but it was a fun show because I mean, a lot of these live action shows, they remind me of Doctor Who. They were done on a small budget,
Mhm.
on a small set, and it was live videotape or whatever you want to do it back then. It wasn't very expensive. I mean, they were almost like one act plays, really. Like a small
Yeah, they had
stage.
like a few. They only had a few sets, and they occasionally
Yeah,
did some outside work. They had a in the first season. They did have a song each episode where
yeah, they did.
Johnny
Yeah,
would sing, and which
Friends,
they used for which they used for the
second
second
season.
season.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was problems with the second season in that there was a fire on the set, so they lost
yep.
a lot of the set, and what that caused is some production delays. Meant that Zelda, the actress playing Zelda, couldn't be there for a couple of episodes because she was in a play. So what they did is they brought in this other character,
Mm,
Gertrude, who was this army sergeant. Oh no, like a
yeah,
drill sergeant who came
yeah.
in, and basically she ended up leaving. In real life, her let me get the real life actresses, her husband, two husbands of hers died in plane crashes.
At the same time.
No, different times.
Oh, I'm sorry, but no, that's terrible. I didn't
It
know that.
is.
That's why she left the show.
No, that was just some random fact that I
Oh, all right, okay. I was like, wow, that's really dark. But anyway, going back to the show, like I said, it was very lighthearted as opposed to that the death of that poor person's husbands. But I'd watch it every week.
sorry.
I'm sorry, it's not death is not funny unless it's this show. But
That's
when like I said, I would watch it because you'd have your animated cartoon shows, and then you'd have this live action stuff. And Sid and Marty
yes.
Crawford, they long before they had Jason the Star Command, which is another one of our shows, and then Land of the Lost, all these things. They were like the pioneers for these live action kids variety shows and stuff. And you mentioned they would sing all the time. I knew the lead, Johnny Whitaker, from a show called Family Affair, which was on when
With
I was
Brian Keith?
yeah, Brian Keith,
I do
Sebastian
remember.
Cabot.
That's right.
That's he played Jody. There was Jody and Buffy, and then
That's right.
Sissy was the older sister, and that's where I knew Johnny Whitaker from. I mean, he had the curly reddish hair and the freckles and 50, and he had the teeth missing. Maybe it was that tooth that you found earlier on. I don't
That's
know,
right.
but
Yes.
he had a career. He was a big time kid actor, and now he's in his teenage years. So this is like his second uh career boost, if you want to call it that,
Yes.
when he comes on the show. And then Sid and Marty Krofft, they were very smart because teen idols were a big deal back then. You had like Bobby Sherman, the Partridge Family, the Osmond brothers, Donny Osmond, and just like they did with Wesley Yore on Land of the Lost when they made him Wesley and they'd have him sing a lot, they did that with Johnny Whitaker with making him sing every week. And I remember Johnny Whitaker's song, you mentioned that became the theme to second season. That was a big hit. I remember hearing that on the radio. It's like, friends, do you need some friends? We're not going to get the copyright notice. But
That's right.
anyway, it was a catchy tune. And I think there's even footage that they had Johnny Whitaker go out into like an arena,
I think
like
they did.
outdoor
They had
arena.
like a live, like a
They had
crop. It wasn't
a
Croft
Thanksgiving
Superstars, but it was
special.
like a live thing,
Yeah.
and that's where they introduced him
Yeah.
from that and the character and Siggy as well, Sigmund the
Yeah.
sea
Yeah. Before the
monster.
show came on, they had that. This was the introduction. And I just remember Johnny Whitaker being like the new heartthrob. I think they got as much as that song out they could before his voice changed,
Yes.
because I think he was like 11 or 12. And then once you
Yeah.
get that 13, suddenly it's like, friends,
Right.
you need some friends. That's another story. But no,
Now yeah.
that's how Johnny Whitaker, he was, to me, he was famous already because
Yes.
he was Buffy.
Well,
Or Jody.
fast forward many years to 2017. They did a reboot of
Yep.
the show. It only went for like 7 episodes or something.
Yeah, I know. I found it by
David
accident.
Arquette
David
played
Arquette.
David
Yeah.
Arquette. Who am I saying? I don't know.
I don't
David
know who that
Arquette
guy is.
was in
Maybe
it.
he was on the airplane.
I just forget about that. All right. So that came out, and that was the last Sid and Marty Krofft production
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
2017.
I was
And
shocked when I saw it. I just happened to literally, I was on Amazon and I saw it come up. I'm like, wait, what? Sid and Martin, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. The model, the puppet Sigmund looked exactly the same.
yeah,
They had the family. Obviously, the kids were new, but Johnny Whitaker, the original Johnny, pops up in the background. He has a cameo
yep.
in a couple of the episodes, and so does Sid and Marty Krofft. They showed up as well.
Which is kind of cool. So you can
Yeah.
get that on watch that on
It's on
streaming.
Amazon right now.
There's
Yeah.
you can buy the first season on streaming as well if you're interested. You know what else you can buy? There
Well,
was
wait,
quite a
know
bit of
what? I was going to tell
merchandise.
you. in
Yeah.
Australia, you can get both seasons. In America, we only got
Yes,
one season.
that's
So,
true.
but and you know what though, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters lives on because there's a lot of merchandise,
Mm.
lots of it. For a
Board
show that
game.
lasted years.
There was a
Board
board
game,
game.
puzzles. They have
Thermos and
they had the
lunch
record.
box.
They had the record album that Johnny Whitaker did. I think it was called Friends, and it's
Mhm.
from the hit show. So, and there's even little figures too. Todd McFarlane came out with the little series.
Yeah, they had the Croft Superstars show. So
Yep.
they had HR Puff and stuff. They had Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I think they had the Lidsville characters.
Yeah.
It's a
And
Funko Pop
Hufflepuff.
as well of
Yep.
Sigmund. So that is pretty cool.
I don't know why
And
they
it
didn't
is
make like a life jacket, like a little thing for the pool, like a pool toy. It
that would
writes
make
itself.
sense, wouldn't it?
Right? Anyway, go on.
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. It's a great fun nostalgia hit. You know what else is a great fun nostalgia hit, Mitch?
Us?
That's right. Where you can find out about going back in time and reinvigorating some of those childhood memories. How can you do that, Mitch?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as having Rip Taylor show up as a green-coated monster living next door and doing all types of magic. All you do is hit the button below and subscribe to the Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure, and you too could come blasting in the past with us as we watch all those TV shows, movies, and more right here on the mighty YouTube.
So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. This is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Squiggy Halleck.
Squiggy. Hey, Squiggy. And we'll
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time.